The following footage wasn't even intended for this channel. It was intended for my second channel, which, if you guys are into vlog channels, I'll leave a link in the description below. But this is just a fixed camera angle. It's not a build video by any means, but it's of my finishing process. I was actually working on finishing one of the drawers to my current cabinets, and I was just talking about the finishing techniques. And as I reviewed it, I was like, wow, there's actually quite a bit of information here, and I didn't want you guys to miss out, so I figured I would mix things up a little bit and just show you guys this. So, you guys, enjoy. Hey, how's it going, guys? You're not going to see my face immediately because I am finishing my drawers for the TV cabinet. And so I figured I would check in and say hi while I'm doing that. And I don't know, maybe, I mean, I was trying to think like, okay, what am I going to talk about? It shouldn't take much more than 5-10 minutes to do this. So, but I'd have to fill that time because you're not just going to want to watch without any type of commentary. So I was thinking I would talk about my finishing process when it comes to, say, like what I'm using right now is wipe-on poly. This is the bottom of the drawer, and you kind of saw a sneak peek. I got those painter's pyramids underneath, so I can get kind of the bottom and then like the bottom leading edges. So that essentially I shouldn't have to, as I flip this over, I shouldn't have to come to this bottom edge. I shouldn't have to apply finish over it. A lot of times you do that and you scrape a little bead of finish. So I'm just kind of getting all the nooks and crannies on the back here and getting maybe about 1 inch onto the ends and the sides and everything. And I just kind of like to saturate the wood. The perimeter of these drawers is aspen, and then the panel, the bottom panel, is just birch plywood, 1/4 inch birch plywood. So, like I said, I just kind of, and with a dresser, I mean like a dresser for example, I typically don't finish the drawers. Just because they don't see that much abuse. But this is that TV lift cabinet that I'm working on, and particularly that top drawer is going to be designed so that you can have what do you want to call them? Video game controllers inside that top drawer and constantly charging. So I just figured that might appeal to a younger element, and as I know, being I have kids, the younger element is oftentimes having messy hands. So I at least wanted that top drawer to have finish on it. I'm not even probably going to put on a second coat. I got 1 coat on this one, and let me see if you can see it. You can kind of see it down there. That one's drying yet. But if the top drawer is to have finish on it, I wanted to have some consistency. So I figured I'd throw some finish on the other ones as well. So, but like I said, depending on how it looks, how much it raises the grain, and my overall finish with 1 coat, I'll probably just leave it at that, with just 1 coat. And that just makes it a little bit easier to clean up in case, you know, messy fingers do get on the drawers, so that it's not making the wood all dingy and dirty. So. But anyways, I just take a old t-shirt and cut a little chunk of that. I tend to use a lot of satin or semi-gloss or flat finishes. So you want to make sure that any type of finish, you either stir it or shake it real well. This one you can shake because it's quite a bit thinner than a standard polyurethane. A lot of the thicker finishes, like a straight up polyurethane, I tend to stir as to not introduce a ton of bubbles and foam. But like I said, I like to just kind of saturate the surfaces, make sure I have nice coverage, and then just kind of come back with a smoothing motion. And if you guys have never tried a wipe-on poly, whether, you know, store-bought or homemade, I highly suggest it. It's one of those to where I typically like to use spray lacquer or spray polyurethane in an HVLP. But this time of year, I'm heating my garage, so I'd have no way to vent that without pretty much just exhausting all the air that I paid to heat. So this is a really good alternative. You get a fairly smooth finish. If you want a thicker film finish, then you'll have to put on several coats because this is so thin. But if you don't want a really thick film finish, then this is another alternative, just to do one or maybe even two coats. And it just kind of seals the wood nice. This isn't like highly figured wood by any means, but a wipe-on poly on, say, something like walnut is just a beautiful transformation to bring out that deep richness of walnut. Or if you have any type of quilted maple or any type of excuse me, any type of highly figured wood, does a good job as well. All right, and I just kind of saturate the t-shirt to get into these corners in the bottom. I'm sure you can't quite see it, but I just kind of almost press out some of the poly to make sure to get completely in there, and then just clean it up with wiping it back and forth to make sure there's not any type of streaks or anything gnarly looking. But I guess that'd be a good question if you guys want to weigh in the comments. What would be your go-to finish? Your all-time favorite? Doesn't even matter necessarily what you're working on. You just tend to say, you know what, that's what I'm going to grab and that's what I'm going to use. Because I would say mine is probably an aerosol lacquer for smaller projects. If I can spray with an HVLP, probably a polyurethane. Or this wipe-on polyurethane is really nice too. A lot of people will shy away from, like, say, a wipe-on polyurethane because they think it's like a labor-intensive thing on larger projects. But I tend to finish things in not all at once, kind of in segments. So I don't know. It's one of those nice things to do. Kind of at the end of the day, you're not going to be creating a whole lot more dust, and might as well just whatever parts you have completely sanded and ready to go. Just a quick throw on a coat of finish, and that way you can let it sit overnight. This I'll probably, once I get completely done with whatever I need to finish tonight in the colder temperatures like I'm in, I'll probably heat my garage for another hour. So it's not, it's not like I have to heat the garage all night long, which makes it really nice too. So, and then in the morning when if I can get out my shop in the morning or whenever, I typically have to I have to start heating the garage about an hour before I go out there. A lot of the cast iron tops on tools act as like heat sinks, and they just, I don't know, I don't care to be out there when it's too frigid, but that just gives it a chance to warm up as well. So just about done with this guy. And if I touch the sides on accident, I just try to go through and make sure that there's no fingerprints or anything like that. And then now I'm not adding any more finish, I'm just kind of smoothing everything out, like I said, around the corners. Any type of brushes, rags, rollers, stuff like that, they kind of want to act as like a little bit of a squeegee. This end grain is just thirsty. But just kind of make sure everything's nice. You got a really long working time with wipe-on poly too, being it's so thin. It's pretty heavy in any type of like the container chemical instead of the actual polymers, so you get a little bit of a work time with it. Clean up any drips on my paper. And we are pretty good. Take my gloves off. Cool, cool. Well, that took about 9 minutes, 9.5 minutes for me to do. I appreciate any of you guys stopping by and sharing that time with me. In case you're curious about what's going on in the shop and all that good stuff. I have 2 more to do. I have another one that's the same size. And then this other one that is just kind of a goofy size. It's about 1 foot deep and about 47.5 inches wide. So normally a wide drawer like that would be a little bit deeper, but like I said, this is for that TV cabinet, and that's where it's going, so the TV has to go behind all these. So awesome. Well, like I said, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and until I see you guys next time, later.